So let's set it up.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Smell the Rosé podcast, and I'm Carly.
And I'm Jazz, and we are here with Yaya.
Hey. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course.
Yes. So before we get started, we want to know a little bit about you. So what do you do and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so I'm Yaya. I am a creative director, dancer, choreographer in the Milwaukee greater metropolitan area. I have my own dance organization, Royale Technique. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of dance, though, a lot of people know me in the dance industry, but I'm actually a tech nerd. So I work for GE Healthcare in IT. I majored in computer science. I'm very, very, very technical computer science person. And Royale Technique, my dance organization, combines both of those things of myself. So it's the artsy side and the analytical side, and being able to teach the foundational principles of STEM through something I believe we all have in our DNA, which is dance. So in a less intimidating way to learn something very intimidating, to encourage people, Black and brown communities, to have more of a face and a seat at the table.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really good explanation.
Yeah.
I didn't even know all that. Look at I did it, and me and y'all know each other
For a while now.
We dance towards each other. I'm like, I know she a tech nerd, but
Yeah.
I don't know for what. Look at
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very interesting.
learn something new.
I'm actually curious to know because I can't dance at all. So I can, but I can't keep a rhythm, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And
Okay.
I'm very stiff. Like, I try to be loose, but I
Jazz,
just,
is that true? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You have to tell me the tea.
She got her moments, but it's
Okay.
like she got the flow, and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, wait, slow down. Okay, get it together. But wait, catch it. You got it.
sometimes we'll be dancing and she'll just be like patting
I'll
me.
try to get it to the beat. Like literally, and then don't let alcohol be in the system. She get a little more loose, but it still be like, wait.
I was actually going to
wild.
encourage the alcohol and
Yeah,
say
I'm
that'll help
wild
you.
when there's alcohol involved, for sure.
I think we can do it though. Regardless, I think that's kind of what my vision is. I don't necessarily have a niche towards young children. It's anyone. It's come as you are, whether you're 60, whether you're, midlife, whether you're a teenager, I don't care. I want to empower all ages to learn technology. I mean, it's very intimidating. We typically see white male dominant field, and they're very, very, very much so dominating that entire industry. So it is naturally intimidating, but I think that having something like dance where, like you said, you just told me you have the fundamentals. You just need someone to shape you up and get you to be even more confident in it. You know what I mean? And I believe that's one of the reasons I'm in the world, like that's a part of my purpose.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is nice.
That's cool. I wish it was easy for people to like find their passions because I feel like that is like literally why you're here.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have that and you're like just in it, doing it, that's beautiful. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we forgot Rosé of the day.
We got
I was
excited.
just so excited to hear what you did. I don't know how to say this, but we do Rosé of the day. So you got to smell it, drink it, and rate it 1 through 10. So.
Okay, 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Okay, easy enough.
You guys see our glasses.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous, by the way. I'm
Thank
obsessed.
you.
So I think I'm taking one home.
Oh. We can definitely get you one. We can get you one. I like how we decided to say it was like, oh.
Then we changed our mind. We're like, go ahead.
You're like, you can get it.
I guess.
We can replace
Our guest here.
Thank you.
Of course.
That is hilarious.
Ooh, it smells pretty good.
I don't like your response already.
It's fragrant.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm afraid.
That's good.
It is.
I enjoy it a lot.
It
And I love
is.
Rosé.
Really?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
because
is really good. I would say on 1 to 10, I'm giving it a solid 8.5.
There we go. See,
Yeah.
I'm an 8 girly. I rate everything an 8.
Yeah, do you? Yeah. That's your average? Is like
An 8. Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
What do you think, Jazz?
I'm giving it an 8. It is
Okay.
one. And it's 10%. So
There we go.
Here we
That's
go.
a solid one.
Nice.
All right.
I can see us drinking this just throughout the day.
Yeah. It's light. It's not too much, not too little, just enough.
All right.
All right. So now we're a little out of order because I was just so excited. But so you mentioned that you won some awards in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to us a little bit more?
Yeah, it's honestly been a joy. I just get so excited when you get to do your passion and people see your passion, they see you for your passion. So as a creative director, I've submitted 2 of my films with Royale Technique to the Milwaukee Film Festival. It's an international film festival, the best in Milwaukee and Wisconsin. And again, it's international. So you have folks who are submitting from outside, way outside of the US, right? So they take about, I want to say it's a short film festival, and then there's the regular film festival. So if you have something that's under 15 minutes, which is where typically we're in a sweet spot, you don't want to dance for 30 minutes and fatigue the girls. So you have like, I want to say a total of 50 films across hundreds that are submitted. So this year I actually got Best Director and Best Cinematographer for a film called She's, and it's a dance visual on attempting to define a woman, and what a woman, what I think society defines a woman. So it has like, a woman is sexy, a woman is soft, a woman is regal. But then at the end, it kind of says it was a failed attempt to define a woman, because there's no way to define a woman, because she possesses the definition of who she is. So that's why it's called She's. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
about to use that.
I love that.
as you should.
I think you're 100% right. It's like society puts us in a box,
Yes.
and we have to shape that box, or we can go outside of that box. And
Correct.
at the end of the day, you're going to end up on the outside, because no one's the same.
Correct.
And so that's just really beautiful.
Yeah. How do you define you can't define a woman, because even all of us as women sitting here, very different, but very similar. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's even, I think society says a thing of, okay, a woman, masculinity versus femininity. A woman is someone who you would see dressed up. They wear heels, but that's not valid, right? There's a lot of women who are like, oh, I love to wear Jordans and I love to dress down, and whatever the case might be. Okay, dress, period.
Okay.
And it's like, you can't compartmentalize and say something that doesn't smell good and that doesn't look dressed up and polished and prim is masculine, and vice versa, right? And I think that's what society does, but we're here to disrupt that and to say a woman is whoever she is, right? Which is everything, anything and everything, a fragment of beautiful chaos.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful chaos. I love that. I mean, chaos. That's
It's
me.
our name.
Not on this Sunday.
A hot mess is what I usually go for.
Oh, Lord. Carly. But it goes with C's. Carly Chaos. We got this.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we want to go a little back. We
Yeah.
know about your presence. So I seen in your bio you're from Nebraska. And it's
so-
funny because when I found out, I was like, I called our mutual friend. I'm like, she from Nebraska? She's like, yes. She's like, where you see that? That's in her bio. So I need to know. You're from Nebraska. And
Yes.
what made you come here? Why'd you leave?
Yeah, so actually I was born in Westminster, Colorado, which is just the suburbs of Denver. Moved to Omaha, Nebraska when I was around 3 or 4 years old. So my family, so my mother and my father separated, unfortunately. And so we moved to Nebraska, which is where my grandmother was. So of course it takes a village to raise a family. So we moved in with my grandmother. We had a wonderful time living there. My grandmother got there. She's originally from Mendenhall, Mississippi. So very country, very, very much so, old school. So she came to Nebraska for school. She was the first Black woman to graduate in nursing in Omaha, Nebraska. Very, very much so old school. And so that's how she got there, which is how we got there. And then after I went to an HBCU, a historically Black college university, for my first year of undergrad. And then I ended up transferring from that HBCU to go, unfortunately, to a PWI, a predominantly white institution. And I went to basically a better Marquette. Sorry, folks. I went to Creighton University, so another Jesuit institution. Graduated there, and GE Healthcare recruited me straight out of university to come move here. So they said, hey, we want you to join our team. Are you interested? And I decided to pick up and leave and move here, and no family, no friends, really built a completely new life, and still don't have, family here, but of course built, an at-home family, people that I now call my village here in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's first of all, there's a lot of things that are like amazing in that story.
Yeah.
Like your college experience, how you ended up in Omaha, which
Yeah.
I actually went to Omaha, and
Did
I
you?
love the zoo there.
Okay, let's talk about it. It was the #1 zoo for 5 years or something nationally.
Yeah,
So
it's
people
incredible.
it's amazing. So when I came here, I went immediately to the zoo, and I'm like, yeah, let's go to the zoo. Girl, why did I go to the zoo? And I was so unimpressed. I was like, why are the animals depressed here? Like, they're literally, it's like not a lot of animals. They're very depressed. And I'm so used to the glitz and glam, and it's crazy. Yeah.
The size of our zoo is like not even
A fraction.
a fraction of how big Omaha is. So you have to go. So
Yes.
sorry, that was a little tangent.
Please do. Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome that you just got a job like right out of college. Like that's amazing, because that is like a huge struggle with a lot of people our age.
Correct.
And then you having the balls just to be like, okay, I'm going to Milwaukee.
Correct.
Not
Like,
knowing
that is
anything.
It was scary for sure.
And you were probably like early 20s,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's honestly why I transferred from my HBCU, because unfortunately, the university I went to, I love the culture. I wanted to be engulfed in the culture, Black culture, etc. The piece that I was missing was in IT, and as a computer science tech nerd, you have to be competitive, especially since I already was a woman. I already was Black, you know what I mean? So I had multiple things against me, so to speak. So I needed to make sure I was stepping full throttle. Like, I'm like, I need to be competitive. And at the university I was at, unfortunately, I wasn't working hard. It was easy for me to get an A. I wasn't studying outside of lectures, you know, it just came natural. And I had a midlife crisis. And I was like, man, I'm not going to get a job. I'm like a freshman in undergrad, like, I'm not going to get a job. This is a mess. I'm like, and I called my mom and I'm like, I'm transferring. She's like, you're on scholarship. And I'm like, I don't care. I need to make sure that at the end of the day, I'm going to get the job and build the life that I see myself having and success for me.
Yeah.
And so I took that leap, and she was very adamant on, you're going to do it on your own. I'm not going to co-sign on your loans. I'm not going to do this. You really need to take that and lean in on this decision and do it. And I did. Yeah.
I mean, it was more like a reality check. You know what you have to do to get in the field that you want it to be.
Correct.
And like literally your life is what basic corporate men, like you said, they get that.
Yes.
So for you to go and do that, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is
Thank
so
you.
cool.
Yeah, because like I said, there's so many people that go to college, get the degree, and then they're like, I have a piece of paper that I
Correct.
don't even
use
at
all.
And it's like,
and spent thousands.
yeah, and
hundreds
like
of
you need to
thousands.
be able to pay off all your loans.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's
Correct.
amazing. And I think about myself when I was that age. I was not thinking about stuff like that.
Really?
Not at all.
Really?
Look, not at all.
So I'm like amazed. I'm like, what? You had made a good decision at a young age?
A solid decision.
Like, this is really the college dream that they talk about.
Yeah. I'm sitting here like, da, da, da. Like,
Because everyone say college is a scam, and I'm like, I believe that,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, it's not. She's right here.
You
She's
just
right
have
here.
to work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to work
Yes.
for it,
Yes.
which is, I mean, like I said, I feel like a lot of people are similar to me, where they're just like, I'm
Floating,
here, I'm
going
getting
with
my
it.
degree, I'll get a job when I do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so next question, how did you start dancing?
Oh man, I was a very awkward young dancer. I started to, once I moved to Nebraska, my grandmother put me into early dance and movement opportunities. So I started training in ballet and jazz for quite a long, like 5 years. And then after that, admittedly, I stopped doing jazz, but I went into hip hop. I joined a multicultural sorority, Sigma Lambda Gamma National Sorority Incorporated. And I had the opportunity to be a stroll captain. And that was the first time I got into choreography. So before I was doing everyone else's choreography and really leaning in on being a dancer. When I got that opportunity, I was so stressed. I'm like, what do you mean I need to put together something? You know, I'm like, how do people come up with that? Like, they just randomly wake up. Like, how does that work? What does that process look like? So I struggled a lot. I still have, ironically, videos I just was looking at on my Google Drive because it told me I was out of space. And it's like, here, and you know, these videos from way back 2014, whatever. And I can just see myself in the process that my mind was going through to create these pieces that we would compete in nationally. So that was like the first time getting into choreography. And then when I moved to Milwaukee, I started training with my peers, mutual friends that we know, some of the great people around the area. I have some great mentors, Kayla Marie, she backup dances for Sweetie, for John Legend, some of our favorite artists, and started training with her. So I would go to, she was based in Atlanta at the time, and my family now lives in Atlanta. So naturally, while I was there, I would, have privates with her. I would go take classes with her, whatever. And then I had the opportunity for 617 Dance Space by Brianna. Unfortunately, it's not open anymore, but that was my first time actually teaching. So when she opened up that studio in Tosa, she asked me, and I had been taking her classes for 2 years, and she's like, hey, do you want to teach? And I was like, okay, so what does that look like? Like, I'm like, tell me more, maybe? I don't know. And she's like, yeah, you just kind of, this is what's the rundown, yada, yada, yada. And from there, I started to build my brand Yaya Choreography, which was all things choreography of mine. I didn't have a group at the time. It was more just based on opportunities I got and ideas that came out of my head. And then from there, got contracted to work with a lot of local studios here in Milwaukee. So really awesome, because they had already built they've been around for 10 plus years. And they're like, hey, we would love to have you be a regular instructor for us. And I was like, wow, and then from there, it just keeps going more and more and more until, I become the brand that I am now and have the organization that I have. So it came from way back of doing cheerleading. Like I was doing cheerleading. I was a cute little, the cute little girl. And I took that movement classes, and then going into my multicultural sorority to doing choreography, to moving here. And here is really where it ignited me being like an individual creative and figuring out who Yaya is as a creative, not just a dancer, but what am I passionate about? What stories do I want to tell through movement?
Yeah.
I'm inspired. Like, I'm ready to take on some more things, Like, you're just like, this is like, you're the definition of like hard work pays off.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's funny because she missed something. My first time meeting Yaya, she had a little workout dance class by the lake.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, I'm like, this girl is working me out. I was like, whew. And every time I see the video, I'm like, this is the day I met Ya. And I remember posting it. I was like, you got to start this back, because this is the most I felt like I worked out. And we met through my friend Shalom, who was my child's godmother, and she's like, come to this class. I'm like, girl, I don't dance. She was like, you used to, come on. It's a workout. And we was in there sweating.
Nice.
Okay.
And it was during the time of COVID when I had just gotten a few years into teaching, and I was so sad because I felt like my trajectory was going up, and I'm like, man, we need to keep this going. And I'm like, no one knew how long the pandemic was going to last. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a hip hop dance fitness class. And so Shalom, love her. She's like, I'm here for it. And she's like, just send me the information. I got some friends. So that was one friend. She had a couple of others. And I literally was so excited. We did one outside by the lake downtown.
Fun.
And man, the girls were working hard. I just remember I was such a drill sergeant too. I was like, no, keep. I was like, you really gotta go.
Up. I'm like, I'm trying.
As soon as COVID let up, I was like, all right, cool. Let's get back to dancing. Let's get back to the real stuff. And actually, that's cool. I love that you said, you're like, we might need to rekindle that. Let's consider bringing that back.
No, definitely. So
we need
like
workouts for sure.
We've been
Fun
trying
ones.
to get them.
Yeah.
Fun ones for sure.
For sure.
So you like been doing everything. Do you have a favorite type of dancing you do, or teach
for
or anything?
sure. My favorite, hands down, is heels. Naturally, Royale is primarily a heels organization, but it's something about being in a stiletto and doing hip hop, doing jazz, doing ballet movement, all on releve is insane. Like, it's so empowering to see a woman, and then even men, like to see a body in general go through and they're doing it, they're killing it just as equally as hard as someone who's flat footed or in a sneaker. I'm impressed. I look at my own videos and I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's so empowering. It's just, again, breaking down those constructs of femininity versus masculinity. It's like, you're everything at once, and you're doing it in a stiletto, which is a skinny heel, not the chunky ones. You know, we're not fans of the chunky ones, but the skinny ones.
Girl, I can't even walk in the chunky ones.
Come to a class.
Start me with some tennis shoes, okay?
You come to a class.
Okay.
Jazz will take you.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, I was
Jazz
pregnant dancing.
Yes, I was just about to say she was full pregnant.
Okay, she had some
Dancing in
skills
heels
built up
still.
already.
I mean, not the heels part. My first time doing the dance show with them was my first time in heels dancing. I was like, I am dying. My feet are on fire.
Feet are on fire. Ankles sore. Ankles, you have ankle strength is a thing. It's like the first time you would think about ankle strength. How often do you wake up in your day-to-day life and you're like, my ankles are weak? You know what I mean? Like, you just, that's not a thing. But once you start dancing in it, you're like,
My ankles
my
are
ankles
weak.
are weak as hell.
I'm the
What
girl
exercise?
that leaves the club and takes my shoes off.
Off immediately.
Like, that
Yep.
is me. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'll walk on some concrete before I keep those on. But
Do you take your heels off in the club?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you're doing fine. You're
making
doing
it.
wonderful. you're up here. You're
Okay,
up.
well, I
you're
haven't
up
been
there.
to a club in like a few years, but
She
I
said, so
could.
maybe we could test the theory out.
We're gonna have to start over.
Start
for
from
sure. So you would say that's your favorite part of dancing,
Yes.
then?
Yeah, definitely heels, 100%. Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
That's great.
So it was one time I was helping you guys book, well maybe not you, I think it was Shalom. I was
Yeah.
helping book a spot for the dance show.
Yeah.
And I always got these weird questions like, so what do you guys do? I'm like, we're dancers, and they look at me crazy. I'm like,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So do you encounter a lot of you have to over explain when it comes
Girl,
to booking you and your team?
Listen, it's crazy. People are people, you know, people digest information so differently. But I've had, my sister recently got married, so I was on a flight. And so I think I have a tag on my forehead that says, hey, come talk to me. People love talking to me, which is awesome, but sometimes it can be hit or miss. But so this guy next to me, he's like, I brought my dog Achilles. So he's underneath, he's small. He's like less than 10 pounds. So he fits underneath the chair. And he was kind of shaking his neck because he's like, okay, it's kind of tiny, it's cramped up. So you could hear his jingle jangles. But the guy next to me thought that he does it 2 times. On the 3rd time, when my dog shakes, I like pull him out. I open up the little top, the lid, so he can breathe. And he goes, what? I thought you had bells on your legs. And I was like, how interesting. I'm on a flight with bells on my legs. Okay, gotcha. So that ignites a conversation. We end up talking. So he's like, what do you do? You know? So he's thinking, I have a very youthful face. So he's thinking I'm in school. So he's like, oh yeah, like what university do you go to? And I'm like, far removed from university, you know? So we're talking and I tell him about Royale and he's like, okay, so you're a dancer. And so I immediately, to your point, over-explain. Instead of giving him the opportunity to ask me, I say, yeah, so we do, you know, and I'm going through to like give a checklist of what we do. And he goes, it's okay. Like, he kind of like tells me it's okay. Like, you don't have to over-explain. And I'm like, sorry, oftentimes you get people that say, when you say dancer, they think you're an exotic dancer. Immediately. They're like, okay, so which club can I come see you at? And you're like,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Correct.
that
There's
dance,
nothing
obviously,
wrong.
But it's just, it kind of feels like, you're
Correct.
like, I have such a big brand and such a
Correct.
big thing. And like,
Correct.
you just
You're
made
goofing
it
me.
sexual.
yeah,
Like,
and you made it, and that's the thing, especially as women who dance in heels, it's easy for you to over-sexualize. I'm really big on don't over-sexualize me, and if I give you the chance and the opportunity to sexualize me, peace. But if I don't give you that, don't immediately look at my video, and instead of saying, wow, look at how powerful her body is. Look how she did a whole chaîné turn into a middle split, into a pike, and in a stiletto. But instead you say, wow, I would hit, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. Like, at least give me the compliment first, and then let's get there later. But like,
Yeah.
the first thing you see of me, I would love for you to see the technique and the amount of strength that's in the body. So yeah, I
Appreciate
do.
the art.
Yeah, appreciate the
Yeah.
art before you appreciate the physicality of it, you know? So yeah, so I do. I over-explain often. But I find it, it's okay. It's okay, because sometimes if you, a part of your brand and building a brand, you have to make sure that you tailor it enough to where people understand what do you offer? What services do you provide? Because some organizations don't do like bachelorettes and stuff like that. We do. You know what I mean? Like there's Yaya choreography. Me as a creative, I've had the pleasure of leading birthday parties and bachelorettes where, you know, I'm a part of their big day. And that's really awesome. I've had the opportunity to choreograph weddings, and that's really awesome. I had a woman who, I think her wedding was in Jamaica. She's like, she knew me for a month. And she said, hey, want to come? And I was like,
Yes.
I was like, huh? She's like, yeah. She's like, just pay for your flight. Everything else would be covered. And she's like, you know, on top of whatever she was already paying me. And it's just really cool because, again, going back to just like women empowerment and being there, I love that. Yeah, you don't know me, but now we're besties. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I always over-explain because people have this natural tendency to over-sexualize and assume, especially as heels dancers, we're just here to be on the pole and some other stuff that I'm not good at all. I would love to be, but like, I suck at it.
I mean, yes, stripping is not easy
at all.
So people that are like, I'm just going to start stripping, like, no, you can't just go one day.
Correct.
And hop on a pole.
Technique.
Like, you need to have some
strength.
core strength.
Yes.
Like all of the above. So so just going off of the being like sexualized and stuff, do you have like a lot of men in your DMs like saying nasty stuff to you just because you're like posting these like very sexual videos? We'll put the air quotes.
I would say I'm laughing because I feel like the people who watch this gonna be like, I'd be in her DM. No, but I do. I have the people who don't know me, like they haven't interacted with me. I'm just a social media personality. Of course, they're like, hey, like, how do I book you? Yada, 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 type of a thing. I've had instances where I've come across men that I've met and we've met face to face. And unfortunately, like, we'll add on, I'm very big on, let's stay connected. So social media is my first way to stay connected. I use social media like my lifeline. It's literally like my phone. But unfortunately, they like will get so obsessed that it becomes like, they're like, hey, like they'll see whenever I have an event coming up and they'll pop up to all those events, like things like that, where it becomes a little bit like, okay, like, all right, I can tell you're over sexualizing, you're obsessed, you've fallen in love with the pigment of an idea of who I am. You don't even know me, Peter, from Paul. I could be a crazy person, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, but I could be, and you've decided that you're obsessed, right? But I think people who actually know me and they know the tech side and the dance artistry side, they have a respect where they're like, even though she does dance sexy in heels, or even if she does technique or anything in heels and even flat foot, I think they have a respect for me where they appreciate the art. And they say you do it tastefully to where even though it is sexy, it's not like, ooh, like it's a bit much. Like it's a bit like I got to cover my eyes. It's like, ooh, eat it up. You know what I mean? Like, so it's very much so a difference. I think when I interact with people that have actually had conversations with me and they know me, at least at its fundamental level from the technical and the artist side, I do love and enjoy those interactions because they're like, hey, I just want to support what you're doing and I just want to be a part of that versus, hey, I'm lusting after you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I feel like you probably have plenty men in your DMs just being like, oh, you're sexy. Or like some backward ass shit. Because like, I mean, every girl gets it, like the unsolicited dick pics and like just all that stuff. And I'm sure like with your work, like they're looking at that like, I want her to be bent over like that for me.
Correct. Literally, I think I posted something. It was a flyer for class. You know, you typically post and say, hey, come out to class. You show them a snippet of what you've done in the past, even if it's not what you would teach in that class. And I think I had a guy DM me and he commented, it clearly said, sign up. Here's how you sign up, you know, that type of a thing. And he was just so annoying. He was just like, ooh, I wish I could grab you like that move that you did at 2 seconds in. I was like, it's too much. The fact that you were able to look at the actual, you know, how long the segment was, my little snippet was, and to say at 2 seconds is insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane. I feel like you screen recorded me now at this point, and you're like going back to keep it in your rapport. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much. I'm like,
it's way
please.
Too much.
I was 2 seconds away from blocking this person because I was like, it's just unnecessary. But I think, unfortunately, there are some people that just don't have the training where they actually understand that that's not attractive. and people don't enjoy that. You know what I mean?
no.
Some people
would
are just
say
oblivious.
A lot of men
A
are
lot.
like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't say some. It's a lot.
You're like, no, let's knock it up a bit.
The sum is the others.
The percentage of people that are normal is smaller.
Correct.
Or men, I'll say.
Yes.
So, are you in a relationship? And if you are, do you have any difficulties with everything that you're doing?
I'm actually single.
Okay.
Yeah, single, ready to mingle.
But that don't mean getting her inbox, her DMs, none of
Keep
that.
it cute.
Okay.
Keep it
Court me. Keep
Support
it cute.
her. That's the only way you get her
Period.
attention.
Period.
Okay, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like,
Yeah.
sometimes when you're pursuing a dream, a job, having
Yes.
someone not like really holding you back, because not all relationships hold you back, but sometimes men aren't secure enough for you to be doing something like that. So,
Yeah.
hey, enjoy your
It's
single
true.
life.
It's true, especially if you think about just the industry, entertainment industry as a whole. Like, forget dance, like entertainment as a whole. Your counterpart has to be very confident in what they have to offer, what you're offering, and knowing the difference between this is my job. Like, I'm getting paid to be in a music video, to be on top of Chris Brown, right? Or whoever, right? Like, baby, I'm gonna be on Chris Brown. Okay, that's my man for the night. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like every performance. And I think that's very different than someone who might be insecure, a man that might be like, okay, I know this is her job, but I'm still feeling some type of way. Like, there's some core work, character work that has to be done. So you're right. I would say it's less for me, less of a someone like holding me back or feeling like it's they're not ready for it. But I would say it's more of I haven't found someone who is confident in who they are as a man and confident in what they can provide to me, knowing that I'm such a type A. I bring a lot to the table. I'm a business owner. I also have a great job. I have goals.
Strong-minded.
And so it's very strong-minded, very independent Black woman. And for that, they're like,
That's
okay. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
like,
that's really intimidating for a man to have.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, the stereotype of like the man makes the money, like blah, blah,
Correct.
and you're basically saying like I don't need that.
Correct. What I need
Nor
is
do
the
I want
emotion.
that.
Correct. I need the emotion. I want you to support my business. I want you to, like, if I have a performance, be the main one screaming my name. You know what I mean? Like, those are things that I want, the non-tangibles versus you paying. I can pay for my own things, or I can, although don't get me wrong, we like a little wine and dine every now. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, that's not my primary concern.
Yeah.
My primary is that deeper emotional, spiritual connection to get to that physical connection.
Have you been in relationships previously that didn't work because of those things? Yeah.
My last relationship, one of those things was, you have to, in the entertainment industry, be out and about. You have to give face. Just show up to parties, show up to different events, social events where you're meeting professionals, corporate America, non-corporate professionals. You're meeting a plethora of people. And there was a lot of insecurity. It was like times where we'd be at a pool party and my ex would say, oh, so-and-so and so likes you. And I'm like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? It's like, we're all at a pool party.
I'm
like, what is
mingling.
it? I'm literally trying to get a bag for us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm networking for us to get the next thing. So it's 100% a turn off for sure. I'm like, come on, be secure enough, because I do think that I do a wonderful job at affirming my man, to let him know that I don't want anyone else.
Right.
And let me make sure you feel good in what you have, but you can only meet someone so far. You know what I mean? They have to have some work that they've done internally as well. You can't just pull them all the way there to say, you are everything, king, da, da, da. Like, at some point you have to have some self-withal as well.
Yeah. So, you just need like a strong man that can hold his own.
Correct.
That can stand alone, because you're standing alone.
Exactly.
And to your point, like, it is your job to like make sure they do feel secure and make sure that they do feel like you are in it for the right reasons.
Right.
But at the same time, you can only do
so much. Yeah.
It gets exhausting.
Yeah, it does.
It gets draining.
It does. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, dang.
What?
I was thinking about something else, but I'm like, no, let's just leave that one alone.
We'll just leave that
We'll just leave that alone.
Okay.
Okay, so we about to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Get into our little is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we get into like the spicy rosé questions?
I mean, not necessarily. Let's get into it. I'm excited.
Okay.
Good. So we normally do like a would you rather first, because some of the things that we encounter do be kind of like on the funny and want to see other people's opinions.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So the first one, would you rather have unbelievable sex that would only last 10 minutes or average sex that lasts an hour? This is, and we need to talk like this is for the rest of your life.
Oh man.
Right.
Okay, wait. So that's every single time. It would either be unbelievable or average.
Yeah, 10 minutes or an hour.
I'm just gonna have to say unbelievable.
For that 10
Yeah,
minutes.
for that 10 minutes, we could really make that work. And then, you know, you said 10 minutes, but there's no cap. This is my analytical brain. Like, there's no cap. What if it's multiple times a day?
Yeah.
Like just that 10 minutes, we could make that make sense for
Honestly,
sure.
When I read that question, I was like, 10 minutes is good for me.
It's
because
solid.
I'm busy. I have kids. Like, I love it. I gotta go to work
She's like,
sometimes.
I have stuff to do.
Like, sometimes I'm like, 10 minutes is all we got time for. And then it's going to be unbelievable at that.
I'm gonna be
Like,
exhausted. If you
Right.
just think about what you consider unbelievable, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be exhausted.
Correct.
Thank you for the 10 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. 10 minutes was satisfying.
yeah.
We'll meet again next.
Okay.
We'll meet in like 10 more
10
minutes.
minutes. Exactly. Yeah, because that average for an hour, I'm gonna get tired. And
It's
bored.
a bit much. And it's like, what is included in that hour? Because that average, it's like, if it's average, to your point, I don't want to have to fake and put on a facade to
Yes.
where that hour, it only gave me 10 minutes of like, ooh,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my,
You might
that was
as
my
well just-
climax. I might as well just have a good,
10 minutes.
solid, unbelievable 10 minutes and move on.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
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 Cool with the 10 minutes, y'all. Clock it. Okay. Would you rather say your ex's name during sex or your partner's best friend name?
Yikes.
Yikes.
Both are just
Terrible.
terrible. Yikes. I feel like I would say, if I didn't think too hard, I would say X. I feel like I could have a scapegoat. It's a double-edged sword, but a scapegoat, because imagine I've been dating him for 3 years and it happens. I feel like my new partner would be more understanding of like, oh, well, I guess you're kind of used to it now for 3 years. Like, oopsie, one time, you know, versus me saying the best friend. They'd be like, okay, what's tea? Like, what's been going on?
Okay.
Like, why are you saying a best friend's name?
Where
Like,
did
have you
this-
guys been talking? Like,
Yeah.
Where did this best friend
come from? And what does
Yeah.
my best friend mean to you?
That was literally my thought
Yeah.
process. It has to be the X.
Yeah.
It just has to be because, I mean, both suck, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're
Literally.
going to have a lot of explaining to do.
Correct.
regardless.
Either way. Yeah.
But yeah, a best friend is brand new.
Right.
Like, you should have never, you don't know what that looks
Correct.
like. You
Correct.
don't know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
So why are you thinking about it?
Correct.
I feel like once you say the best friend name, the relationship is over.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
not really
true.
no getting back to it. He ain't gonna trust it. Even though nothing didn't happen.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Like, he wouldn't
Yeah.
trust it.
Correct.
You can't come around.
Correct. Correct.
It's over. So
And now you've broken up a friendship.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Look, it's that.
Now you broke up the friendship for the friends. Now they don't even want to be friends no more because
Because
Yeah.
you over here fantasizing.
fantasizing about that man, please.
Oh, well, this was great. Do you have anything up and coming that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, so we have auditions coming up October 20th for Royale. So anyone who's interested and wants to be a part of, we have a training base within Royale, and then we have our performance team as well. So that's from 5 to 7. We also have a performance for a Halloween party on the 26th of October. So that'll be really cool. It's a Black-owned business called Nior. And we'll be performing there. So it's a Halloween, grown and sexy vibe for anyone who wants to come out. And then outside of that, we just have our regular, like I teach regularly on Thursdays. Anyone want to get into heels, want to start to get into their femininity, their sexiness, their masculinity, all of that. Feel free to come and dance with me on Thursdays every other week. I teach this Thursday, so you can kind of do every other week from 8 to 9. And then I'm teaching in Chicago. For those not in Milwaukee, I'm teaching in Chicago a Halloween class on the 26th, which I believe is a Monday, at 7 p.m. from 7 to 8:30.
Wow.
Yeah,
Busy.
girl,
Booked
always
and busy.
Booked
All
and
the
busy and
time.
blessed. The fact that I know my calendar at the back of my hand like that is insane. If it's
Yeah.
not in the calendar, baby, it's not
It's
happening.
not
I
happening.
live by
It's
it.
not okay.
Live
That's
by
the
it.
Bible.
Planner and a calendar. Like,
Yeah.
I have them everywhere because I'm like, there's too much stuff going on. I got too many people to keep track of.
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
I get that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like literally booking you. I was like, we gotta talk to her soon.
I know.
because-
I so appreciated you too. You're like, it was a month out, and she was like, Jazz was like, yeah, we're thinking October. I said, wonderful. I like, slid up in my agenda. I'm like, which Sundays? I said, wonderful. I have rehearsals at 5, but I can do before. So I like love working with people like that I like,
Yes.
I'm on it too. Cause I think you're a planner type person too,
Yes.
that you love to have the organization.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this episode was very empowering.
Yes,
You
thank
definitely
you.
brought that. I love that.
So any men out there, don't come in her DMs unless you're ready to
Okay.
go.
Okay. You
Paper
better have that.
stacks, confidence. Okay. Confidence there. Okay.
Listen,
That
because
part.
strong woman over here.
Okay,
Not
that
trying to hear it.
part. Oh, thanks for having
Yes,
me.
thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Cheers.
And we out.
Goodbye.
I said, Rosé, you know that I want you. I said, don't play, girl, you know you want to. So let's set it up.